okay, how does he come off as having boundaries to this woman that has been with a controlling man and is probably going to be easily triggered? And is that even possible to have with her? Because that's probably something she needs to heal on her own.
I think he is controlling.
You think so?
And I'll tell you why. He doesn't have any problem, or he has a problem with it, but he's not saying he has a problem with this guy friend that she's FaceTiming all the time. And while he's around, I'm not going to go hang around and give her alcohol and be like, that would be, I would expect to get my block knocked off. You know what I mean?
Seems more like nice guy energy.
It is. But nice guy energy is where controlling comes from. Because I guarantee you move that relationship 2 or 3 years down the line, right? Now his insecurity is making it where he's trying to control all the aspects of her life to make sure that he doesn't get anything that he doesn't like. This anonymous person, he said, hey, hope your Sunday is going well. I would like some guidance, please. 2.5 months ago, I broke up with my girlfriend from a 2-year relationship. I didn't feel loved at all during the relationship. 2 days later, after the breakup, a mutual friend on Facebook added me, and we started to talk a lot and hit it off. We finally met at the gym to work out as friends, and then unexpectedly fell for each other hard. We'd be together a majority of the time before she goes to work, for the police department during the day, or when she wakes up, she'd go to the gym before night shift. She introduced me to her family and friends, and I noticed this one friend of hers would always be FaceTiming her every time I'd be around her or while she's on her way home from work. She'd be all lovey on me, kissing me, telling me we have to have a good day at work. During the day, decorating the front of the house with planets for stuff for the holidays, making it her home. I don't know if he meant plants or actually planets. I mean, it's pretty cool she's decorating with planets, but I don't know what holiday you decorate with planets, so...
Earth Day.
Oh, that's true. Earth Day. Maybe she's decorating for Earth Day. I mean, this was in June, though, so... Oh, but it could have been. Yeah, it could have been around... Earth Day is like in April, isn't it? Or May? I don't know.
Let's not go down that wormhole. Okay. It's giving Chick-fil-A energy right now.
All right. On May 27th, Tetris lover, are you happy? All right. On May 27th, we all were having fun at the pool and having food. She has past trauma from a relationship/marriage. Her marriage was controlling and she wasn't allowed to drink. Make a long story short, her friend that's always FaceTiming her was at the party, and I knew this guy was a dude, right? He handed her a twisted tea after she had like 5 and tried to give her a 6th one, and out of concern, I said to her, hey, please be careful. When she drinks, it's like she's dead weight and can't move unless I hold her and walk her to the bed. This guy friend would always give me weird vibes. Well, her and I are broken up and she hasn't been texting me much or calling me. Do you think it's worth trying to fix a relationship? I've tried every way I could to fix it, but she's extremely short with me on the phone and I've been giving her space. When she texts me, it's only to get her stuff at my house. She told me I've molded my life around her and controlling because I told her to be careful while drinking. That's a lot, but...
Yeah.
But you get where, I mean, the episode comes from this, because this is the confusion that a lot of men face, right? Is they're like, okay, I'm going to say something, and now, and women use this a lot of times to manipulate men, is they say, you're controlling or you're insecure, right?
Yeah, I think her thing, though, is she probably was with somebody that was actually controlling, and now she's trying to go like the complete opposite. You know, like anything might trigger her to think that it's controlling, or she might be like, oh, he's going to turn into how that guy was. So at least he knows that she has trauma from a previous relationship. But I don't think the guy who wrote you the email did anything wrong by being like, hey, watch out, you know, for like what you're doing. But I get where now he's in a tough place of like, okay, how does he come off as having boundaries to this woman that has been with a controlling man and is probably going to be easily triggered? And is that even possible to have with her? Because that's probably something she needs to heal on her own that he might not even be able to do, depending on where she's at with healing that part of her. Because I can understand her trauma where... she might be afraid that that's going to happen to her again. But this guy doesn't seem like he gives off that sort of energy. We don't know the full, story, but based on how he phrased what he did in the email, it doesn't seem like he's a controlling type of person. He was just trying to look out for her and, not have her get into a situation where she doesn't really have control of herself.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult, that is the same person. And I think on TikTok, he sent another.
Yeah, he sent it on TikTok too. Yeah. So
another update though.
Right. Which is another hint to his personality, because he sent it to us email. He sent it on TikTok. I think he emailed so here's what I would say. I think he is controlling.
You think so?
And I'll tell you why. Look, because I think it's the best way to be controlling. The worst thing about this, and because it reeks from insecurity, because controlling comes from insecurity, is to emotionally manipulate people into doing what you want, right? Whereas being dominant and secure comes from a place of telling people what you don't like or you don't want and setting clear boundaries. And part of it is this, look, he describes what happened, right? Already before he even went to this party. This girl that he's seeing, that he's dating, she's coming over to his house and decorating. So they're in a relationship, right? It's not just casual dating at this point. He said they broke up, so they're obviously in a relationship. He doesn't have any problem, or he has a problem with it, but he's not saying he has a problem with this guy friend that she's FaceTiming all the time and while he's around. So already at this point, right? Look, if you're dating a girl and while she's with you, she's FaceTiming a guy friend of hers, that's extremely rude and disrespectful. Even just FaceTiming anyone while you're hanging out with, that's rude. It's disrespectful, right? And so he didn't say anything about that. He didn't say, hey, that's not cool. Or I don't like that. You know what I mean? I told guys to say, I don't like that. But he didn't say anything, right? And then, and I'm sure other things have happened. Then he gets to the pool party. This dude is at the pool party, right? Okay, look, if I was hanging out with, I'm trying to think, let's say I was a single guy and one of my friends was there and had a girlfriend or whatever, or I guess or I knew a girl there, you know what I mean? And I was kind of friends with her. I would not, if she was there with a guy she was dating, I would stay away from the two of them. I'm not going to go hang out and be a weirdo.
But here's the thing too, though, that kind of seems secretive. Well, even though you're not coming off that way.
Right.
If I was the guy in the situation, that's my girlfriend, and you're not, you're friends with her, but now you're not going to talk to her in front of me, I'd be like, that's even weirder.
I'm not going to go hang around and give her alcohol and be like, that would be, I would expect to get my block knocked off. You know what I mean? Some guy's dating a girl and you're going up and just hanging out with her and giving her alcohol, right? So he's allowing that to happen as well, which is complete disrespect. And the fact that she allows it to happen is completely disrespectful, right? You're with your boyfriend or a guy you're dating and you're taking drinks from this other dude that's supposedly your friend. It's just not cool, right? So he's allowed all these things to happen, right? And then he tells her, because he's afraid to offend her, please be careful. I know it seems like a stretch to call that controlling, but
it seems more like nice guy energy.
It is, but nice guy energy is where controlling comes from. Because I guarantee you move that relationship 2 or 3 years down the line, right? Now his insecurity is making it where he's trying to control all the aspects of her life to make sure that he doesn't get anything that he doesn't like, instead of actually being direct.
But even though he's not doing any actions to actually do the controlling part, it's the insecurity.
Well, because it's it carries, when you say, there's certain things that you say to someone that is an indirect way of indicating that
it's passive aggressive.
Right. Because it's
and he's harboring resentment for her from these things that he's not talking about.
Exactly. And that puts that emotional load on the person. It's if I do this, they're going to be upset with me. That's controlling. When you think, if I do this, they're going to be upset with me, and that's why I shouldn't do it, that's controlling.
Because you're controlling yourself, but it's really to get the outcome that you want.
Exactly. And so whereas if he changed his whole demeanor, instead, when he first started dating this girl, if she's FaceTiming some guy friend and he's like, hey, who's that guy? And she's like, oh, it's just a friend of mine. And it's like, well, do you think that you should be FaceTiming him while we're like together on a date? I don't really like that. I kind of find that rude. You know what I mean? If he said that, she might have gotten pissed at him at first, but she probably would have had a lot more respect for him, right? And then by the time he gets to the pool party, I mean, obviously some other things should have been put to a stop before then. If he says, and even just in that situation, if he's at the pool party and instead of saying, be careful, if he sees her having too much alcohol and he says, oh, what are you doing there? Like, that's like, I don't really want to be around someone that's like getting totally wasted. That's not cool. You know what I mean? Like if he said, I don't like that. Like, I don't like that level of drinking, right? Again, that's not telling someone what to do. It's saying what you don't like, right? That comes from security. It comes from a dominant place as opposed to an insecure place. Then she probably would have still been upset, but she would have respected him and he would have had a chance. Like maybe that would have ended that day. In fact, he should have left at that point. He was like, okay, you could do what you want to do, but if you're going to get sloppy drunk, I'm not going to be here. Boom. He's gone. Later on, she talks to him, and now she has a respect for him because this guy has boundaries. He has respect for himself. He's not going to allow himself to be disrespected, right? So that same kind of thing comes across in a much more secure way as opposed to the weak, nice guy way that ends up becoming insecure. And
but would you say the other?
Better than